bong. Graham, show us that dirty bong again. Oh my god, that is a dirty bong.
Yep. Honestly, like, that's the thing.
That bong is so dirty, I want to take it into a back alley and not tell anybody about it.
If I could go back and
I want to take that to like a
when
$5 hotel and not tell anybody about it.
If I could go back and change a few details about when I bought this bong, I would buy a different bong first and foremost, because this little thing, as adorable as it is
adorable.
It gets so dirty so quickly, and I don't understand it. I've never had a bong that does it, but every time I smoke from it, almost every time, I'll just end up with like a black ring of resin on my lips that I have to wipe off with a paper towel. And I don't understand it. Yes?
I'm going to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Where did you purchase said bong?
In Vancouver, downtown. There's a little smoke accessory shop. You know, they do everything from bongs to gas masks and also T-shirts and whatnot. I forget the name though. It was.
Now, would this happen to be the same shop that like also sells you like Pepsi and other various products? Is this a convenience store that happens to sell bongs and pipes?
This was not a convenience store that sold pipes and bongs. I did buy a bong from a convenience store before. However, this one, holding it up for the camera again, this bong I bought.
Focus.
I got it at a place that was actually like meant for it. It was like it was an actual
marijuana supply store, not just like
it was not it was attached to a marijuana shop. It was not part of the marijuana shop, but I think that like they were a part of it in a way.
Okay.
So
Graham. Graham, okay.
Yeah. It's like I've talked about it before on Drunk Thoughts and High Opinions, a place that I bought from before called Sweet Jane down in Washington State.
Sweet Jane.
And oh yeah, exactly. That's where I got it. Yeah. And Sweet Jane has a place. They have a supply store behind the shop. So it's there's Sweet Jane is like kind of the big building there, and then the convenience store, there's a convenience store attached to it, but if you walk all the way around, there's a back door to the building that is a supply shop. It has T-shirts and whatnot, but it also has like that one hitter with the dugout that I have, that little wooden one. You said, that little adorable one hitter. Yeah, I got that there. Great for traveling. They had bongs, they had pipes, they had one hitters, they had everything. So I think that dispensaries tend to have, and anybody can dispute this, but dispensaries tend to have a accessories store nearby that they will send, and I send people, and I don't understand why. I think it might be because dispensaries are only supposed to sell marijuana. I think it's such a hassle just to get the license to sell marijuana that they've said, fuck it, we're just gonna do that, and then other stores will sell the other stuff that isn't like highly regulated. That's my guess.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, what? You wanted my high opinion. You wanted my high opinion on the marijuana industry, didn't you?
I just wanted to see your cute little bong. Like,
oh,
that's dirty
right.
as hell. That bong is so dirty.
Fine. Do you want me to go clean it right now?
I need to write a Dear Penthouse letter after looking at it. That bong is so dirty.
That's the thing about this bong. It gets so dirty so quickly. I cleaned this like a week ago, and it's already this dirty again.
I'm starting to think it ain't the weed. When's the last time you brushed your teeth, homie?
Oh, I brush my teeth frequently because I smoke so much weed. Because I know that is what's happening to my fucking teeth.
You heard it here first, ladies. He's single. Come and get it with the marijuana teeth. You got them pot teeth.
Hells yeah.
Well, salute to you and your dirty bong. I'm gonna drink a nice fancy Manhattan.
Yeah, fuck you. Let's get this show started. If you're gonna be like that, let's get this show on the road. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Who's editing this week?
I believe you.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
All right, then. Future Corey, cue that music. Oh, Jesus.
Now you're gonna have to make sure the music...
I'm gonna have to, like, put... What are they called? Little dots on my timeline. What are they called?
Yeah. I don't know. Check marks?
No. Fuck you. I forgot.
Here, I'm gonna... I know this is gonna break continuity a little bit. I just need to adjust my camera because of the way I'm positioned.
You do that. I'm gonna vamp and try to figure out what the fuck these things are called again, because it's really gonna bug me. Fuck. This is why I shouldn't drink. I forget shit. God damn it. Well, now you're cutting off your head. You had better framing last time.
Well, fuck you.
I'm just trying to make you look good, man. It's a hard job, all right? Somebody's got to
look, I need you to cut the attitude here.
What attitude?
All right, how's this one?
I mean, it's still you, but it'll work.
You're
You're a snarky bitch tonight.
You are. When are you not a snarky bitch, you bitch?
Fair point. That's fair. Fair point.
Fair point. Yeah.
You know what? I withdraw.
I tend to do that. Make fair points.
I mean, that's the first that I know. I mean, you're on the board, at least with one. I'll let you know if you get another one.
Well, fuck you. I think I make good points.
Yeah, I know you do, and that's the best part. Because you think you make fair points, and it's like, oh shit, fuck, Graham. Hold on, buddy, I gotta brace myself.
It's. I think
you know
what I think the problem is.
Physically brace myself.
You know what I think the problem is that you're looking at the world too straightforward. You gotta look at it. Lynchian. You got to look at the world as if the creator of this monstrosity is some weird Lynchian type person.
There's not enough weed in the world, dude.
Oh, I think there might be.
Remini.
Cut. I think. There we go. I'm gonna turn that down just a little bit. All right. I think that's better.
Yeah, you myself. Hot tonight.
I think I might be.
I mean, there's no way you can hear yourself because I have you through these.
But I heard myself kind of screeching through my own headphones, so I was like, that would be a terrible sound, even if it's dialed back.
Hearing yourself is a terrible sound? Yeah, I can concur with that one.
I mean, yeah, that's why I hate editing myself.
Oh, it doesn't get any better either. I know. My job has me recording voiceovers for like 16 different videos that are going live on our website. I'm just like, this is something. Yeah. It was I don't know. I'm actually having fun with it, but I'm like, because everybody's like, oh, but you've got that face for radio, and I'm like, hey, thanks.
Every time whenever I want to record my voice or I'm putting it back, I always want to turn it down. Like just, not the volume. I want to turn the pitch down a notch. Just make it a little lower, Everything. Just make everything I'm saying a little bit lower, because that's how it sounds in my head. Graham. That's what it sounds like in my head. Every time I've recorded myself and then turned it down one notch, just one notch, I'm like, this is what my voice sounds like. What?
No.
This is what my voice sounds like. Fuck you.
See, eventually your testicles will descend and your voice will get lower. It's a little thing about puberty there, youngin. Hold on, I'm gonna just kind of teed that one up.
Yeah, fuck. You know what?
Out of the park. That was too easy. Sorry, that was low-hanging fruit on your part. Speaking of low-hanging fruit, let's get off your testicles. What you been up to? I hear didn't you start playing? What was it? 14 again? Final Fantasy 14?
Yeah, I've been jumping back into that. I've never gotten through it completely. I've beaten Realm Reborn. I've gotten about 60% of the way through Heaven's Ward. But I've never it. It's a patience thing with me, and those games, by the time you get through to Heaven's Ward, you've already done 90 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's beelining through the story.
That's beelining through the story. Exactly. That's beelining through the story.
This is not a game to have ADD.
Yeah, exactly. So, I've done it a few times before, but I have my kind of OCD of I want to do things in order. So whenever I feel like I haven't done it in a while or things have changed, I always want to go back and restart so that I can get a full, complete, playthrough. And then basically I'm at the point where I'm just replaying the first part of the game faster so that I can get through a little bit more of the expansions. But this time I think I'm much more committed. I really want to see. I've heard Endwalker is the best one yet, and that's what every person has said about every single expansion is they just get better. So that's exciting. Even the first expansion, Heaven's Ward, people were saying this is starting to match the storytelling of Game of Thrones, and then Stormblood came along, and people were like, this is one of the best storytelling in video games. So I'm excited to jump in and see what they're about completely. And I've also really wanted to jump in with that Gunbreaker. So
the Gunbreaker is fun.
Yeah,
I can agree to this. That is my go-to at this point. So
First of all, hold on. I'm going to finish by saying about 5 minutes before we hopped on here, I got my Paladin job finally. And I was like, all right, I gotta go record now.
Level 30, right?
Yeah, level 30 is when you're able to do your job quest.
Pugilist becomes a paladin or something.
Yeah.
Or no, is it a pugilist?
Pugilist.
Is it a pugilist?
No. Oh, sorry, no, it's gladiator.
Gladiator, that's right.
Yeah. Gladiator is sword and shield, as is the paladin, and the paladin.
Yeah, I wanted to get that up there.
More magical sword fighting stuff.
I want to just say, I will say this for you, Graham.
Okay.
You will grow out of that. That feeling to have to restart every single time when you do something like this. I know that feeling. I had that feeling, and I still get it in the back of my brain sometimes, but it is much softer of a voice, and it's a lot easier to ignore. I know you're going to be skeptical, and you're going to disagree, and because you want to be a special, unique little snowflake. Surprise!
That is not the reason. I just know myself, and I know my family, and I know my family, and they're all like this. Not maybe with video games, but my family is like this. We're a consistent bunch, and this is our kind of OCD. So I know that you think that I might grow out of it.
I believe you will.
Pretty sure
First of all,
I know.
You're 23. You don't know shit about yourself. That's your first rule. That's the first thing you got to learn. You don't know shit about Graham.
I am going to disagree with you on that, but you can think whatever you want.
I just I come to you from a place of love and from a guy who's had a similar 20s experience as you, of a lot of bullshit. It gets better. There's hope. Sure. For you yet, sir.
Sure.
I believe in you.
And how is your life going, by the way, right now?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, there we go. All right.
Actually,
that's what I thought.
I've got. Let's break it down. I mean, I make over 60K, live by myself. I get to play with cameras all day, microphones, editing. I got a good slew of friends around me. I got family that loves me. I think, all in all, I got nothing I can really truly complain about. I got a roof over my head. I got a drink in my hand. Fuck, the world is good.
Yeah. I feel the same way.
Exactly. But you still don't know shit about Graham. You'll learn about him. He's gonna be a good dude. I got a feeling that Graham's gonna be a good dude once you figure him out. But you don't know shit about Graham yet. And I'm telling you that the voice does. So okay, I'll meet you halfway. That urge, it doesn't go away, but it becomes easier to ignore at times. It becomes a softer voice in the back of your brain. It is not as prominent. Fair?
Perhaps.
Let's say fair. We can move on with the fucking conversation.
Yeah.
God damn it.
This is not what the people. This is not what the deep-rooted fans of Drunk Thoughts and High Opinions came to hear about. No.
Yes, they did. They're Drunk Thoughts on Graham. Surprise! This is an intervention.
Oh God, no. You know it's never good. It's never good to do an intervention online because it's so easy to just go out.
You wouldn't do that to me.
And that's how you should cut me out right there. You should literally just cut me out of the video.
Welcome to Drunk Thoughts and more Drunk Thoughts, fellas.
Well, I was thinking, if one of us is ever not able to record one week, we could just do a 20-minute video of just a rant on something. And it would just be Drunk Thoughts or High Opinions.
No. It's got to be both. You got to be sitting there with a bong and a fucking beer.
Actually, that's
double fucking
good.
Duty.
All right, that's good. But you have to sign on for that. So you might have to do that for next week.
What are you fucking doing next week?
I'm going to Yakima, and then on.
We've recorded in Yakima.
Do you want to have guests next weekend? Next episode?
Oh, can we do a surprise guest?
We could do surprise guests. We could do lightning round of we're introducing one guest at a time. So it's one guest comes in, they talk for a while, and they say, "Okay, fuck you, get out of here. You go get drunk or something," and then we bring in another person.
Your belief in my friend list is that long. Admirable, and I appreciate
it. I'm talking about it would be my friends coming in, and they would record with me.
All right. Okay, Graham.
And then I would tell them to get out.
It needs to be like a talk show setting where you interview your.
That's what I was thinking. I'm gonna take my camera.
The one-man audience.
That's what I want to do. Is I want to take my camera and I want to try if either of them have I know I actually have a friend Matthew who has he's always been. My go-to guy in Yakima for film stuff. He wanted to be my cinematographer on my first short film that we were doing. We were working on that for a while, so I could reach out to him, see if he has a few cameras that he wants to bring. We could do a few camera angles, and then you could be the moderator host, and then we're over.
No. You host it, and I'm just your one-man audience.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
So you're just welcome back to Yakima Talks.
Can you come up with a few ideas? I'll come up with ideas, but I need you to come up with a few ideas for what will the talk show be about? What will the game show be?
How well do people know Graham? And we'll call it "You Don't Know Graham."
I mean, the narcissist in me loves that, but the shy one in me.
Yakima civilians, do they know things? Let's find out. What do they know? Let's find out.
And we immediately get copyrighted by Netflix.
But at least we're on their radar, sir.
Yeah.
Making waves.
In a good way?
There's no such thing as bad publicity, my friend.
Well, no, there's definitely bad publicity. Have you ever heard of Kevin Spacey? How about Harvey Weinstein? Have you ever heard of Tiger Woods?
He's the golfer, right?
How about O.J. Simpson?
Ornthal J, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh god, that's good. I'm gonna have to make another one. Back to Final Fantasy XIV.
Yes. Sorry.
No, I apologize. We got off on the tangent on.
You're the one
I'll take blame on this one.
Who started fucking with me.
Well, that's just half my job on this show. That's kind of the whole reason I do it, is just to fuck with you.
Okay, that's fair.
But Final Fantasy XIV, I've played a fair amount of it. I'm into Stormblood. And what's after Stormblood? There's one after Stormblood, and then there's Endwalker.
Shadowbringers.
Shadowbringers, good man.
Yeah, Shadowbringers was the one that introduced the Gunblade and...
Is it the Dark Knight?
No, the Dark Knight came out in Heaven's Ward.
That's right, yeah. I want to get good at that class. I love
Dark Knights have always been fun.
Games. The Dark Knight class. I like playing like World of Warcraft. When I was into that, I was the Death Knight. I love that class of just like the Legion of Doom and the Legion of Death, like those kind of Deathbringers, not so much Necromancers. I'm not a magic guy, but I like being armored, and I just like my WoW guy. I could start a battle with like a quarter health as a blood spec Death Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Death Knight. I could, go and just find a random enemy and start like with a quarter health. And by the end of the fight, I have siphoned off so much blood because I had him spec'd the right way. I'd finish the battle with full health.
Yeah.
Like, I loved doing shit like that. So I want to get good at the Death Knight, but in 14, I'm a Gunbreaker. I grabbed that class after I got my warrior up high enough.
It's not Death Knight, it's Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
Death Knight, you're thinking of World of Warcraft, but they're very similar. They're very similar.
I want to do a Dark Knight in 14.
Yeah.
Right now I'm doing Gunbreaker, and it's fucking dope, dude.
Yeah.
It's such a great tank class. I love tanking in that game, and probably the best thing about that game is the fact that you can do all the classes with one fucking character.
Yeah.
Versus World of Warcraft's like, all right, you got to make one person with one class. And
I do like that. I do
90 levels or whatever.
I do really like that. What I think that it ends up being most fun to do is instead of making like 10 characters, one for each class, you can make like 2 characters or 3 characters. One for like kind of heavy armor characters. Like your tanks, your warriors, your what's the not the Dragoon? That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, Dragoons, Marauders, Paladin, like I'm using. Just classes like that, and then have one a character specifically for like magic builds, and then a character that's more for like dexterous builds. So like the pugilist and the assassin and the bard and stuff like that.
Well,
so
fuck the bard. Who wants a fucking loot in a battle?
Well, that's what my brother's doing right now. He fucking loves. Yeah, he's so excited for the bard.
Spencer, fuck you.
Oh, he's not gonna like that.
I don't give a fuck. Oh, sorry. Did we just lose one of 3 of our viewers?
Actually, I don't think Spencer's ever listened to more than like 10 minutes of one of these.
Fuck Spencer. See, I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you a little bit on that. Just from the sense that like
bards are more like support.
Well, no, not the bard thing. The whole like having multiple characters. I'm making another drink, so bear with me here. So like. The reason I love that aspect is because I can play with the different style classes. So for those who don't know, when it comes to these MMO video games with different classes, you're usually grouped into like one of 3, maybe 4 style of play. You have your tanks, which are your heavy armor wearers. They soak up all the damage. They're the ones that gather all the enemies together in a group and just, they're just fucking damage sponges. And then you have your healers, pretty self-explanatory, they fucking heal you. You got support classes, which can also be considered what's called damage per second, DPS. And their job is to just hammer. Their job is just to kill shit. And that can fall to whether it's melee versions like a rogue or an archer or a fucking bard with a lute, fuck that noise, or a mage with magic. So I've always loved the 14 aspect, that the fact that I can have a tank and a DPS in the same character based on what I'm doing as part of the game. So when I run around the world, I am a tank because it's a lot easier to solo the world as a tank. You can attack a bunch of groups of enemies, kill shit, and keep moving. But when I get into a group of other players in the game, I hate dealing with the bullshit of other players who just bitch and moan because if you don't play the game right, man, troll, fuck those assholes. So I just do DPS, which you can kind of do no wrong when you're a DPS. As long as you're killing shit, nobody gives a fuck. So that's what I love about 14 is it gives you the versatility to jump between the couple of classes versus like World of Warcraft, you're set into that one class, and it's like, well, if you're a tank, you got to play the whole game as a tank, and eventually you get to the point where you have to play with other players, you have to play cooperatively, and there's just so many angry 12-year-old assholes who just play Fortnite all the time on those games, and it's just like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm 33, I don't give a fuck what you think, I just want to play the game, and because I usually play for the story, and I don't want to deal with your 12-year-old asshole kid.
Yeah.
They learn how to play video games for fucking Minecraft. Get fucked.
I will generally agree about like the usefulness of being able to switch between the jobs and classes.
Which I do the samurai for my DPS. Have you tried the samurai yet?
Yes, I have played the samurai on previous characters. But what I've been experiencing the last 2 times that I've played through Realm Reborn, I've played as a tank. First time as... The first time I did was as a tank, as a marauder, and then a warrior. Last time I went through as a... I believe they're... it's the class that turns into 2 different jobs. Like, you can go healer or DPS. You can go... you can either go scholar or... summoner. Summoner is DPS and scholar is healer. So I went scholar on that last character. And then this time around I'm doing gladiator to paladin, which is a tank. And for the most part, I find that tanking is relatively easy. I like tanking. It's a
it's not that I don't like tanking.
Yeah.
I don't like the pressure that comes with tanking. It's not the aspect of actually tanking. Like, if you and I got into a group with, like, 2 other friends that we don't, that don't exist, and they wanted to play because there's 4-person groups in this game,
yeah,
I would totally be down for tanking because I know I can talk to you guys and we can justify it and talk, like, we can figure it out. Mm-hmm. So I have no problem tanking. It's the pressure that comes with tanking when you're playing, and it's like, oh, well, if you fuck up, then people are like, fuck this guy, he's such a dick, he doesn't know what he's doing. It's just the judgment. It's like, and a lot of times it's like, hey, asshole, this is the first time I've been in this dungeon. Why don't you go and suck my cock?
For the most part, I find that if you just like do your job and try, people don't care if there's a fuck up. It's when there becomes like consistent fuck ups that people get angry in these games.
Bosses with like mechanics
that are weird, yeah. But
sometimes you can't just hammer on the enemy. Like, you have to like move into a certain spot or drag the enemy to a certain area. And sometimes if you're playing for the first time in that dungeon, you don't know. And I play on the PlayStation, which trying to type out a message saying, "Hey guys, first time."
Yeah,
it's a holy shit.
Yeah,
it's hard,
it is. It is better on computer. That definitely true. What was I gonna say?
I don't
know. I like tanking, and I have found that people are not being that like toxic right now. Maybe I'm just doing a good job.
It is a better atmosphere than like WoW.
It is a better atmosphere than WoW. Definitely, it's not as nice a community as Elder Scrolls Online, which I never thought I would say that, but the Elder Scrolls Online community is strangely good and nice. Weirdly,
I'm surprised to hear this in Elder Scrolls community.
The
it was just you playing games by yourself.
Fuck you. you know Skyrim is one of the highest sold games of all time, right?
I am. I'm working on a Skyrim fan film.
Exactly, you son of a bitch.
Does the name Aventus mean anything to you?
Aventus is the name of several characters.
Anyway. We're not talking Elder Scrolls. Move on.
All right, fine. Yeah.
It'll be a one-sided conversation.
Final Fantasy XIV. No, I've been having a lot of fun returning. The Gladiator feels like it was intended to be like the normal, like just number one class to go to. It is the first one that they throw at you, and it's also I noticed as I'm doing the class and job quests, they very evenly match up with the progression of the story. Like places you're supposed to go to with the Gladiator quest, whereas I haven't found this quite as much with the other job or class quests as much as with the Gladiator quest. We're almost with the level by level. It's like the level 5 story quest and the level 5 Gladiator quest seem to take place at the same place, and the level 15 and the level 20 and the level 25 and the level they all take place roughly at the same location.
Yeah, I did Marauder Warrior, my first for the first class, and that definitely took me some weird places.
Yeah,
this is
remember
random.
It takes you to like Costa del
cool,
Sol.
Yeah.
It takes you to Costa del Sol for a lot of it. I remember that,
which I thought was interesting.
You get a lot of your stuff from like a waterfall off the route of Costa del Sol. Exactly.
Like,
I remember
cool.
thinking that I was like, I really like this aesthetic. This is really fun. What's going
it has
on?
Nothing to do with the story.
Yeah, it has
like,
nothing to do.
Yeah, it's so far.
Whereas the Gladiator one is like matching.
Okay, that's
so
cool.
I feel like the Gladiator class was just designed to be the this is the go-to. This is the number one class we designed, and then everything else came second.
I'm interested to hear how the Paladin class works. Like I really dug the Paladin class in WoW. Or let me rephrase it. I wanted to dig the Paladin class in WoW, but it was less attacking and more buffs and debuffs, and I just.
This one is mixture. So I have I have a really cool mouse that I'm really excited about. It has the like numbers on the side, so I have all 12 numbers on the side, hotkeys. So basically it just goes for me 1 through the equals key on the keyboard. So I 12 different options to play with, and I also when you're on the computer, you can press Control and there's a second bar that you can put all the stuff to. So if I want, I can just with my pinky reach really quickly over to the Control button, and then I have all the buffs and debuffs. There's not really debuffs; it's mostly buffs, but they're cooldowns on my second bar. So when I'm basically, if I do an ability, I'll just click Control and then use the ability that matches up with it.
And that is another thing I want to bring up off Final Fantasy XIV that I thought was really bitchin'. So beyond the fact that you can do all the classes with a single character, and the variety, which is really cool, but I love the combo system.
Yeah.
Where you can do one attack and then it highlights like. Depending on your class, 2 or 3 moves that are say, you can follow up with another one and another and another. Yeah. So like my samurai, I think I've gotten up. I can do like a 5 attack combo, and it just fucking slays.
By the final attack, it just it destroys. Yeah. I'm up to a 3 attack combo with my paladin right now, and like the first one is just a normal slash. The the follow up is like a stab attack, and then the final one is this weird like spin around, and then I just slam down the sword, and it just explodes. It just causes so much damage, and it melts basically every basic to medium enemy at this point.
Exactly. Like I have a hard time getting up to that 5 combo because it just, even by like 3 or 4, I'm wrecking average enemies. I have to wait till like bosses or when I'm in a dungeon with harder enemies, so I actually have to get up there. And then even there's also like branching paths of combos. So it's like, all right, well, you can do this move, which is like more damage but less A, B and C, or you can do this move, which does like maybe more AoE damage but less single damage. So it starts getting branching and combos. So I loved,
and some of the abilities would like happen instantaneously. Some of the abilities would happen like you can go bing bing instead of bing, wait for the cooldown, bing.
Exactly.
If you go that way, it'll do less damage but faster. Yeah.
Whereas like WoW, I had combos set up, but they were manual combos. I was like, okay, I'm gonna attack with this attack because this is a good starting attack. And then I'm gonna move to this attack because it's a good follow up. Like you figure out the combos in your head, but Final Fantasy XIV flat out tells you with a little highlighted mark saying, do this attack, then this attack, this attack. And some might call that hand holding, but I just think it's really engaging gameplay. It just because you're sitting there like, okay, which one am I going to do, or like this is the combo. I'm focused more on like, okay, where's my next move going to be?
And it's not hand holding. It's more of like a reminder of which abilities are on which key. So for me, I like, even though I know where all my abilities are, it's nice to just have that like visual reminder. And then the follow ups, it's like, oh, these are the follow ups you can do. Nice. Okay, I'll do that.
Which is really helpful because if you're playing on the controller, the way the controls work is you have to press down L1 or R1 to engage a certain set of hotkeys. So you press R1 and your square, circle, cross, and triangle buttons plus your D-pad buttons become one set of attacks. If you press L1, they become another set of attacks. So you're constantly, I mean, that game is dexterity, the fucking game.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm not the kind of gamer that plays with both shoulder buttons with two fingers. I usually just use one trigger finger and then jump between the two. So like L1 and L2 or R1 and R2, I jump between the two with one finger.
Yeah.
I think you're a twin gamer.
Yeah.
Right? I can't do that. I don't have the dexterity, but like that game forces me to like develop that dexterity and just, like, which I'm sure this is just looking creepy as hell on camera.
And that's the thing is I used to not be like that for years until I was probably like 19. And then somebody just said like, oh, I think you're supposed to use both fingers. I was like, oh, okay. And so I just started forcing myself to, and within like a month I just got normal.
Conformist asshole.
It was just like, well, hey, this will probably make it more effective, and it did. It wasn't one finger going between. I was like, I have full control of the controller. So fuck you.
I grew up at the original Xbox where it was just the two triggers.
Yeah.
And then so it was pretty funny. Xbox, they came out with the Duke, which only had the two, left trigger, right trigger. But then when they realized that controller was a fucking behemoth and bigger than most fucking people's hands, they came out with the controller S, which was more modeled after the PlayStation 2 controller. And they moved what used to be, you probably don't remember this, Xbox's original controller had A, B, X, Y, and then a white and black button.
Yes, I remember.
And
I remember.
So you do remember.
I remember.
Okay, you remember? I remember. So when they came out with this controller S, they turned the white and black button into bumper buttons to match the PlayStation controller. So that's a harken back to 2002. But anyway, moving on. So you've been playing the game recently. Which, one of the nice things about these games as a service is they're constantly updating and making better. And I mean, I think Final Fantasy XIV is the poster child of like a game that started shitty and became better. Just like No Man's Sky and a bunch of other games. But like this game dropped and it was horrible. So Square took another year, redid everything, and they re-released it as A Realm Reborn. And they're continuously updating it. And now with these like 4 expansions, they've streamlined the whole process as far as I know. And you're going through that, so tell me more about like the story and have they streamlined it? Because when I played through it, there were so many fucking fetch quests. Like you said, it took like 90 hours just to get to the main quest, and it was just like, Jesus Christ, go here, warp here, talk to this person, warp here, talk to that person. It was
so
fucking A.
So really quick before I answer that specific question, I want to quickly say, because you said you talked about the how the game started horribly, and I just wanted to really quickly say this game did a wonderful thing. Great fan, not fan service, really. It was honoring the fans, and that was that when the original game was not doing so well, they decided, okay, we need to fix this. We need to find a way out of this, and redo it, make it better. And so basically they shut down the servers, but before they shut down the servers, they said everybody who likes the game, who still like is excited for what we're gonna do, log into your game, and there's gonna be a final boss battle. But next against Bahamut, and so every person in the entire game logged in who was excited about it. They logged in, and they fought against Bahamut. It was like thousands of people fighting in one big raid against Bahamut, and Bahamut was just so overpowered, so much health, and they fought him until the servers crashed. Basically until the servers were just shut down. And as the last like 30 seconds happened, they like, I think Bahamut became more overpowered and killed them.
I was gonna say, I don't think that was a winnable battle.
It wasn't a win. Yeah,
story.
They made it part of the story. So that, like in the last 30 seconds, Bahamut became overpowered and started killing them all. And then, I may have a few details wrong here, but most of this is correct. Then, when they brought in the new game as A Realm Reborn, the very beginning of the story immediately starts by talking about that event, the Warriors of Light who fought against Bahamut before the Cataclysm.
It became canon,
yeah,
and it was super cool.
And that is the greatest way to honor fans of a game. Is like, hey, we fucked up and we're gonna fix this for you, and at the same time we're gonna make you, the people who liked it despite our fuck up, we're gonna make you canon in the story. So that being said, after several expansions, they knew that people were really tired of A Realm Reborn's fetch quests. So about a year and a half ago, I believe, maybe longer, it
was like last 20.
Might have been 2 years ago, actually. Now,
no, it was summer 2021.
Was it? Okay.
I played through a good chunk of the game last summer.
That's right.
On my own in Florida, and I dealt with all this bullshit.
All right.
Dealt with all the bullshit. I was kind of annoyed because I got through it all, and then Square was like, "Hey, we're streamlining A Realm Reborn." I was just like, "Fuck."
Okay, I remember that now. So.
You remember me going,
"Fuck." Yeah. So, they about a year ago decided to delete or manage about 13% of the quests.
What a specifically odd percentage.
Yeah, it's about 13% of the quests, and a lot of the ones that they took out were ones that had you just keep running between the same two characters. They were like, hey, let's just make this one quest, and it's just one go-between. And so that fixed, like, probably 3 or 4 hours worth of Realm Reborn's story. Just in general, because of how much, like, fetching there is in that game. So they went through, they fixed a little bit of that. They made it easier for you to get a mount. They made it easier for your mount speed to increase. Like, I got a mount today. Usually in the past it would take you 2,000 tokens to get the issuance so that you can go and get your chocobo. But in the past, when it would be 2,000, it would be like annoying, where you have to go and get a bunch of side quests with your legion or whatever, and like, okay, I have to go and do all these quests and get a bunch of tokens and then go back and purchase it. Now what they've done, it only costs 200 tokens, and you get 300 tokens just from doing a main quest. So, right. literally, the main quest after you join the Legion, you just get 300 tokens so you can go and get your chocobo. Easy.
3 to 4 hours off the main story, though, does not seem like a lot. I mean, just to put in perspective,
it's a big game still. Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't want to. I feel like they could have taken out more, but
yeah, like that feels like that feels like a diet, but it's still not good for you. Like, because, I mean, I've put in 220 hours of that game. You know, and I mean, I've gotten up to the second expansion. I think it took me like 60 hours to get through the original game. 60, maybe 70.
Yeah.
Heavensward was a long fucker.
Yeah.
Like, wow, you want to talk about bang for your buck in terms of an expansion? Heavensward was just amazing, because not only was
huge
it
expansion.
Long as shit, and it introduced awesome classes like the Dark Knight, but the story was definitely
a
lot of fun. And the only thing I didn't like about it, and this is just a personal grievance that I you know, it's a personal thing, is it plays on it Heavensward and Stormblood, to that matter, and I'm sure Endwalker and Shadowbringers do the same thing. These expansions are born out of storylines that seem insignificant. So when you're playing through A Realm Reborn, you're introduced to Hasselfront. So you go to the north.
I'm sorry. I haven't quite gotten to him yet. I'm still replaying the game.
You go up
right
and
now,
do a series of quests into like the northern part of the area by helping this random set
the
of
snow
people,
area.
and the snow area, and you're just like, you're up there doing quests, and it just seems pretty insignificant. It's just fetch quests or little like, go kill this thing, and you're done. And you meet people along the way, and they're like, oh, I'm so and so, and I do this, and you're like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. And but then you continue the game, the story, and there's nothing else to them at the time. So you're like, oh, they're just one-off characters.
Yeah.
But then when you get into Heavensward, it's like, oh no, they're the fucking plot point.
Yeah, they're huge,
important. They're huge.
Yeah.
And they become, so it's just like,
it's good writing.
Now, it's fantastic writing. I'm not disagreeing. It just,
for an MMO.
So one thing, yeah. So one thing that 14 does, again, I'm just comparing it to World of Warcraft because it's just the easy comparison. And Warcraft has gotten better, but like when I played Warcraft back in 2004 when it first came out, and through the subsequent years, I got so upset because you could never follow the story. There was no easy way to follow the main storyline. You just kind of had guesswork of what was important, what was not on a quest, or what a quest would, it's like, oh, you could just go talk to Joe Schmo Gnome, and the gnome's like, I need you to kill these 12 gophers in a fucking hole.
Yeah,
and you're just like, all right, let's go do that. But then that quest leads to another, and then it leads to another, and it leads to another, and the next thing you know, that quest is actually really fucking important to the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated that. I hated the fact that it was kind of hidden.
Yeah.
So 14 does a great job of saying, okay, you want the story, here's the quest line. Mm-hmm. They give it a big old marker above the fucking head. Here's the fucking story. Tell it, you want the story, follow this marker. If you don't want the story, hit the other markers.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, again, such a large game. It's just like you cover so much detail. It's hard to like, okay, who's important here? Who are we trying to focus on?
Yeah.
And it just, so the fact that like you do like 5-10 quests in this northern area that's just kind of throwaway was really annoying. And then I went back, and then they're like, Heavensward follows that part of the storyline. You're like, oh damn. And it's good writing, but it just personally bugs me because I'm like, now I kind of wish I'd paid a little more attention to those quests and like seeing the seeds that they are obviously sowing, because when they're, let's be honest, when they're making the main game, they're already planning the expansions, so that like storyline had already kind of been planned out, and now it's just seeding. It's leading in. It's the Marvel post credits of one movie leading into another.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Sorry, was that a drunken tirade? Or whatever
I think that would be considered a drunken tirade. Yeah, I think that was a good one. Tipsy tirade. Yeah.
Is that my tipsy tirade for the week?
That's your tipsy tirade for the week. You did good, sir.
Fuck yeah!
Hell yeah! We'll put just the Drunk Thoughts logo over that.
You are needed. I can do this without you.
the director of Final Fantasy XIV, he came in and saved the project with Realm Reborn. After the original directors fucked it, he was brought in to fix it, and he was the one who decided to, like, okay, we're gonna kill the servers, we're gonna do the fan service, and then we're gonna redo this with Realm Reborn. And he has recently been in the headlines for mentioning that he wants to build a new MMO from the ground up, because he obviously came into this game already with a template. They had already designed how the gameplay was. He just needed to polish it, needed to fix the story, whatnot. And so he didn't really have much to do with the actual creation of the game, just in the fixing of it, just the mending of the project, and so I am actually very excited by the prospect of him making his own MMO from the ground up, new project completely, because I think he has a lot of talent. He's obviously one of the best MMO director out there.
In terms of story, I tend to agree, because even with all my gripes aside, it feels like the stories are all well interwoven. Because even Stormblood. So this is the second expansion, which maybe they had cursory ideas of when Realm Reborn was put out and Heavensward was far in development. Stormblood is seeded with some characters that appear probably 3/4 to 5/6 of the way through the main story of A Realm Reborn. You meet some characters that are like, oh, I'm from across the ocean and I live in a land that does this and this and this. And that's what Stormblood explores. So, yeah, that dude, some probably long Japanese name that you and I couldn't pronounce without fucking it up.
Yeah.
Whoever he is, kudos for sure.
He's absolutely a fantastic game designer, game director. I'm going to look up his name just so we can give him proper...
Give him proper kudos?
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Right, fair enough. I want to say Yoshinori Kitase, but I know he's involved in Final Fantasy. I just don't know if it was 14. Kitase-san. I could be wrong, but anyway.
Naoki Yoshida. It's sorry, Yoshi P. Naoki Yoshida, also known as Yoshi P. I can't believe I had forgotten that was what he goes by. Yoshi P is Naoki Yoshida, who is the director of Final Fantasy XIV. He hasn't let me see. Let's just talk about him for a moment since we're on him. He started out on Dragon Quest III, so obviously
a little bit of credential.
Yeah, credential. He worked on Tactics Ogre, which are you familiar with the Tactics Ogre games at all?
No, I'm not.
Very, very similar. In fact, I think they might precede, at least the first one does, Final Fantasy Tactics. It's the exact same engine. And it had its own universe that's very similar to Final Fantasy, but it's also unique. Final Fantasy actually stole a lot. I think later Final Fantasy games stole a lot from Tactics Ogre, in terms of its world building. So Yoshi P is, he's known for basically Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest and worlds like that, and so he's familiar. He's been working on it for years, and yeah, if there was anybody who was going to be able to fix it, it was him, or the director of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
You would have been baller.
God damn it.
I think that's
Tetsuya Nomura.
Tetsuya
Nomura is the director. He of course he created Kingdom Hearts. Tetsuya Nomura is I have a lot of a lot of feelings about this guy. A lot of opinions, I should say. He is very weird, and he does a lot of things that...
Because you're just so fucking normal, Graham.
I am not saying... I'm not... You're missing my point here. And do you think that's very sanitary? To lick the microphone in such a fashion? Alright, well, you do you, sir. But anyway, Tetsuya Nomura, he makes some very weird decisions. I am excited for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but as we've stated before, the way they ended Remake, it could be that they just want an excuse to do whatever, you know? They're like, okay, we're gonna just do whatever we want with this world now. I hope they don't. But he would have been... I don't know if he would have been a good choice to bring in and fix Final Fantasy XIV Remake. Or sorry, 14, as
A Realm Reborn.
A Realm Reborn. I think that Yoshi P was the right choice because he's more familiar with that kind of world, that kind of like a bigger scale thing. Because Tetsuya Nomura is more... they wanted Final Fantasy VII Remake to be a lot like Kingdom Hearts, and he was the right choice for that.
Well, part of that too, Nomura-san was the main character developer, I want to say. He was involved in 7's original creation.
He was the designer. He was one of the designers.
Yeah, main character designer. So, like, he knew these characters most intimately. And so I think bringing him on as director was the smart choice. Now, I don't think he's directing Rebirth, the second one. I think he stepped down. Just like Cory Barlog did for God of War. Like, he's kind of, like, giving somebody else the reins. By the way, Katase is a Final Fantasy producer in general, so I'm not wrong in that name. It's not applicable to...
He's the creative director of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So that's what he's going to be credited as. But
he's not the narrative director.
Creative director, concept design, and character designer.
Well, again, he was character designer on the OG, so of course he's going to keep that going.
It's 3 directors: Tetsuya Nomura, Naoki Hamaguchi, and Motomu Toriyama.
Speak a lot of Japanese, do you?
No, but I've read all these people's names before, and I've wanted to make sure that I can correctly say them. So
sure you do. Anyway, Nomura's definitely a pivotal guy when it comes to 7.
Yeah, no, he was.
We're talking 14 though. This is we're talking 14, which is twice as good as 7 because it's twice in numbers.
That is not true. Because do you think that Jaws 14 would be better than Jaws 7? They only get worse. They only get worse. What I'm saying is, if they did make a Jaws 7, and then made enough to get to Jaws 14, do you think that Jaws 14 would be better than Jaws 7? I want you to look me dead in the eyes. I want you to look me in the eyes and tell me that Jaws 14 would be better than Jaws 7.
I'm gonna make another drink.
That's what I fucking thought. Oh, you son of a bitch.
Graham, okay.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Graham, okay. Why am I son of a bitch?
I don't know.
There's plenty of reasons. I'm not doubting it. What is the situation this time?
So many. I can't list them all.
You sound like every fucking girl I dated.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch. Shout out to all those lovely ladies out there if they're ever watching.
They're not.
They're not.
Not at this point.
No, why would they? They are lovely ladies, though. All doing very well, from what I understand.
And now you've lost all your future ladies.
I don't know about that. We'll see.
Is that a Coke Zero I see?
Is it? Yes.
Nice.
Is that a problem?
No, I actually...
Some of us have to watch our figure. Alright. That's what I do. Rum and Coke Zero.
I've been buying them 20 packs from the Save On. Cause Reed fucking Reed was drinking so much Coke all the time, like just normal Coke, and so I got used to that. And that, yes. No. But he was drinking. He was just buying so much Coke, and I got used to that. And so when I was here, I was like, I can't keep drinking 5 Cokes a day because I know if I buy Cokes, I will drink that many. So I'm like,
that is a shit ton of
Coke.
Coke.
That's way too much. I know.
That's like a 70s level amount of Coke where you just
I know
little nose candy.
I know, and it's not even as cool. It's not even as cool. It's not as cool to drink that much Coke. It's way cooler to. It's. I'm not saying it's a great thing. I'm just saying that like people in the movies do a lot of Coke. They don't drink a lot You see, there's no cool character.
Not a fucking tea.
There's no cool character that just like is casually drinking a Coke all the time. Maybe the Fonz. But was he drinking a Coke every time? Was he ever drinking a Coke all the time?
No, that was the fucking. It was based in the 50s, like Coke. I mean, it was at a malt shop, but I don't think they were drinking Coke there.
So yeah, when have you ever known a character that is just like casually drinking a Coke? But all these characters that are just like, all right, let's go do it. Let's go, guys. I'm doing Jonathan Banks, but okay, guys, we're gonna go do it.
That's not even Jonathan.
You don't think that sounds like Jonathan Banks, Gus?
No, I don't.
Gustavo, I think that you're making a terrible choice. I think that sounds pretty good. Fuck you.
Speaking of terrible choices, that voice is a terrible choice.
You know, Gustavo. All right, now I'm losing it. Fuck.
What do you sound like? I'm not gonna even say. You'll hate me.
I'll hate you and make you cut it out, probably.
You sound like a hermaphroditic robot.
Yep, we're cutting that. Fuck you.
3 more upgrades, honey, and I'll be more robot than you can handle.
Oh my god.
So yeah, Final Fantasy XIV. Is it twice as good as 7?
No. Final Fantasy VII.
As the number indicates,
7
times 2 is 14.
Final Fantasy VII Remake is still one of my favorite games of all time. One of my top 3. No. I'm saying no.
I'm talking OG game. We're talking 1997. Square.
No.
Oh. I don't want to ever see your O face.
No. It's not. Because Final Fantasy VII is truly, truly special. Final Fantasy XIV is great. Don't get me wrong. But Final Fantasy XIV is absolutely wonderful. But Final Fantasy
we just spent an hour talking Final Fantasy XIV. And we've had a previous episode on Final Fantasy VII. So this episode is not twice as good as that episode?
No. Because, first of all, our quality has improved. My camera has gone up. Our sound quality has improved. I think that our rapport is just getting better in general. The editing skills is improving by the day. I think that we're getting better. It doesn't necessarily mean that our reviews of the games aren't getting better.
I think you need to keep reaching. You're self-filleting pretty hard.
Maybe. Self-filleticitis is it's a.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
It's self-filleticitis.
That sounds like the worst fucking disease since COVID.
It is. It's bad. It's bad, you guys.
Self-blowjob.
Yes. Think Clerks.
I know only one man
who
succeeded his Clerks.
They found him, balls resting on his chin. Bastard made it.
Lucky guy. But 14. All right, so let's. In all seriousness, where would you put 14 in like the Final Fantasy universe?
Definitely top 5.
Okay. Graham. Okay. Graham. Okay.
I'd say that Final Fantasy X, just by like mechanics, true to the world of what they had.
10 balances everything really well.
It balances everything that they'd been building in all
it does
the
nothing
games.
Great in each aspect, but each aspect is just solid enough where it's just a good plane of good.
Yeah. 10 I would probably put in number 1, even though it's not my favorite. I think that it's probably number 1.
It's my favorite.
My favorite, Graham.
Yeah.
Does my favorite count?
It does. It does count, Corey.
Yay.
I'm not counting remakes or anything. I'm just counting the core games.
Yeah, go by OGs.
So I would put 6 as number 2.
Ooh, Terra.
I would probably put number 4 as number 3. Cecil, number 4. It holds a special place in my heart, but it's also it's when they figured out what the games were.
The formula.
They figured out how it would
the
work.
Final Fantasy formula.
How it would work.
Was 4. So why does 6 take precedence over 4?
6 is when they perfected it.
Okay. So 4 is when they.
4 is when they figured it out.
Found it. 6 is when they perfected it.
Yeah. 4. Which in North America they released as 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So for North America, it seemed like
on the Super Nintendo. If you look for it nowadays, it is correctly numbered.
2 and 3.
If you're looking on the Super Nintendo, it is 2 and 3.
Yeah. So for North America, it was like, wow, figured it out, perfected it. But in
figure it out, eh?
But then in Japan, they had the 5th one, which I really like 5 personally. If you haven't played 5, check it out. It's the best game in the series for jobs. It has the best job system in the entire series, but that's really all it has going for it. The story is very boring. It's very, very standard. Like, oh, we once locked away a dark knight, and now he is about to escape. Oh no! If we don't stop him from shattering the crystals, what will we do? And then all the crystals shatter, and with every crystal shattering, you're actually excited because you're going to get more jobs. They don't give you a lot of motivation to want to save the crystals because the first one, the first one gives you a bunch of jobs, and you're like, ooh, I wonder what the next crystal will give me, and so you're just waiting for them to shatter. So 5 had a lot of problems, but 6 is definitely where they were like, okay, we can have lots of characters and lots of perspectives and lots of replayability, and you can make any character what you want. You just have to get the character to learn,
Plus, Kefka, the villain, is just super intriguing.
One of the great villains.
One of the best themes. Mm-hmm. Top 3 musical themes to come out of a Final Fantasy series.
Absolutely.
Up there with like One-Winged Angel and the Battle Victory theme, I suppose, would probably take the cake on that one.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So you got 10, 4, 6. What else?
7.
7. All right.
And then 14. I think that those are the...
That in order, or just...
I just came to that conclusion. I think they are definitely all in the top 5. Maybe I would switch, 6 and 7.
What would you put 1 to 5 in order? Give me 1 to 5 in order from those... What you gave me, or whatever.
The one I just gave... That order I gave you, that's how I feel about it right now.
So you feel like 14 is the best Final Fantasy?
No. I was saying... number 10 is the best. I was going back. I was counting from best to.
Oh, okay.
I was going backwards. So
I thought you were going 5 to 1.
Yeah, 14 is the 5th best. It's really, really solid. And then of course 7 and 6 are the most iconic games in the series. 4 I think, is the game that is just
cemented like the mechanics.
Yeah, and it was the first game that wasn't a little shit. Like, the first game was a little bit shit, and the second game was a lot shit. The third game was like...
Oh, no. 2 had a dude literally so fucking evil that when you killed him, he went to hell, and the devil was like, welcome to hell, and he goes, fuck you, I'm in charge. And this dude took over hell. I think there's some credit to be had there.
No, I'm not saying that there isn't good stuff there. I'm not saying there isn't good stuff there.
Like that Emperor,
the gameplay, the plotting, the going from place to place was so bad.
Yeah.
But 3,
it's not a good game. I always think fun. That's just a fucking
3 was fun, but I
love that story aspect of 2.
Yeah.
2 or 3. Yeah, I mean, we didn't.
Did you ever play 3 on DS?
I mean, like the first 10 minutes.
Okay, so 3, that's the kind of the first Final Fantasy game that I really played, because I had it on my DS when I was 8 years old.
God, you're young.
And I liked it.
Why are you so fucking young?
I know. You fucking hate me. But 3 was like the first one I ever played, and then I fell in love with the games later. And 4 was the first game where they had a really solid story and really solid mechanics. I actually have taken a lot of inspiration from playing Final Fantasy IV. The story in that gave me a lot of ideas.
4 was just from what I know of 1, 2, and 3. 4 was the first game to balance everything. Because 1 was obviously just, it's the prototype. It's the basic idea.
Yeah.
You choose 4 classes. You go through the whole game. Not a whole lot of direction. Not a whole lot of like quote unquote story. It's just kind of you figuring shit out because it's an NES game. Like fucking Mario has you running left. Zelda has you wandering the world. There's no actual like exposition. You just kind of have to put the story together in your head. And
2 was limited by still being on the NES.
2, but 2, well, so we never got 2 until Dawn of Souls.
True.
Which was a Game Boy Advance game. I remember playing that. And 2 was like, all right, there's a story to be had, and I feel like Square said, we feel like a lot of people missed out on it because, or didn't miss out about it, they missed the class interaction. Because you could choose between your classes in the Final Fantasy, the original Final Fantasy game. When you were setting up the game, you could choose what classes you had. There was Warrior, there was like Rogue, White Knight, White Mage, Black Mage, Monk, and shit like that. 2 was the first one was like, hey, we want you to experience it all, and not in just one game. And they're like, all right, fair enough. 3 kind of kept that same trend going, and again, we didn't see 3 until the DS years of like 2005, 2006.
Yeah,
where I was like, okay, here's all the fucking combinations. 3 was the first one to really introduce the job system, and it was, okay, I guess.
Yeah,
but 4 is really where they found their footing, because it was. You had the job system. You had characters interchanging in and out.
It had the most unique characters, probably of the series. And you had
characters that had personality. Because in the first game, your characters had no personality. I can't speak for the second and third game because I haven't played through them all. But it finally, as you said, it found the footing of like, all right, you need characters who are compelling. You need a story that works. You need the job system that interchanges and plays with your party dynamic to keep you on your toes, and you're not falling into a rut of like, all right, I'm going to play with these 4 characters, and that's the run of the game. No, the game forced you to be like, all right, here's your party, figure it out.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Well, we've talked about Final Fantasy for quite a while.
All right, so your top 5. You said 10, 6,
7,
7, 4, and 14.
Or yeah. Let's just go with that.
Does that mean next week I get to talk about my top 5?
Or you could say your top 5 now.
We're coming up on an hour 15.
Well, you're probably going to find a lot of stuff to cut down anyway, like that could just condense this conversation. So No, I'm good. So next week you want to do what if actually this is not a bad idea. My friend who I'm gonna be with this next weekend, he is a streamer, and one of the games that his favorite is Final Fantasy VII Remake. He's streamed a lot of it. What if we did a game show about Final Fantasy?
Game show like how?
Trivia. We could do like a trivia on Final Fantasy.
Alright, hold on. Sorry, that 2-liter was just a little out of my reach.
We could do like a trivia. Yeah. Or like what is the game show is like? Give me like combat for 500 or whatever. Jeopardy. There we go. We could do Final Fantasy Jeopardy.
How do you not know the name of Jeopardy?
I smoked it out of my brain momentarily.
I don't know. I'm not super confident on that. I feel like I'd fuck myself up on.
Well, no, you were supposed to be the audience.
Yeah, I suppose.
I'll be the host. I will make a bunch of questions.
No, you won't. You're lazy.
This is something I would commit to, and I'm right in the middle of I'm almost done with this script for this video, which you need to watch Better Call Saul season 6 before I release this video, because it's going to spoil a lot of season 6.
I'm not watching your shit. And if I know anything about you, you're not going to advertise it either, like on YouTube.
No, this is I'm putting this out so I can advertise it and not have it be not have Drunk Thoughts and High Opinions be the only thing I'm putting out in the world, so that my aunt and uncle aren't looking at it and going, "Really? This is what he's doing?" So that people I lived with in France aren't going, "Really? He's a fucking."
Really, Graham? Is that how you choose to live your life?
Yeah, exactly. I need to put out other stuff as well, so that they're like, okay, he's doing multiple stuff.
Still high opinions. Everything you do is a high opinion.
Everything you do.
You're always high.
That's why I want Drunk Thoughts and High Opinions to present everything that we're doing, because you're always drunk, I'm always high. It just naturally works.
You think I live my life if I'm always drunk?
Please.
Bitch, please.
Please.
I hide it pretty damn well.
Yeah, you... Yeah.
Well, real quick.
It's because I know you so well.
Let's... I mean, we're at 118. I'll cut some shit out, I guess. That's a spoiler. 10 takes the cake. I'll give you my top 5 on Final Fantasy. 10 is definitely the best. And I haven't beaten a lot of Final Fantasy games, but I've done research. I've watched like playthroughs. I've watched a lot of gameplay. I've done my research and like know the storylines to most of them. And 10, I always felt encompassed a good balance of a Final Fantasy game, in the sense that like it included every character.
Yep.
It had a story, it had a story that involved every character, versus like 7.
And it's a game that encouraged you to use every character.
It did. It encouraged it. It taught you early on. There's a long ass tutorial, long fucking tutorial. That's the only beef I have with the game. Is like, you're like 10 hours into the game, and it's like, hey, here's how to use your magic user. And it's like,
Yeah.
But if you're a first time Final Fantasy player, which 10 was my first game in 2002, I appreciated that. I was like, oh, all right, okay, Final Fantasy, okay, Final Fantasy, okay. I see what you're doing here. Like, okay, winged enemy, I gotta use Waka. If I have elemental enemy, I gotta use Lulu. I have a stroke. Hi. If I have a strong enemy, I gotta use Auron. I have a fast enemy, Titus. Or whatever you decided to name that asshole. Which is another beef I have with the game, that you could, it's the game that you can name your main character whoever you want.
So they never actually say, like, Titus. They're always just like, hey, you. Or they just walk up and...
It reminds me of my time in college.
Or they just walk up slowly and they're just like, so, what are you up to? They just kind of start a conversation.
Like,
instead of going
I don't need to get it back to Xanarkin.
Instead of like, people being like, Titus, like walking up at, like, and instead of just like approaching him and like touching him or getting really close until he's just like, oh shit, there you are. They're always just like, okay, you have to get real close. Hey, you, what's up?
Which sounds like the worst sext of all time.
Yeah.
But that was 2001. So I can forgive it, but at the same time, like,
no.
I get really annoyed at the pronouns that they use. They're like, you, the champion of the Xanarkin Abes.
What I would have liked is just I don't think it would have been that difficult. Maybe it is to ask the actors to just say Titus in several different ways. And then they could just try and in the remaster incorporate that. I don't know,
because there's so many moments that could have incorporated it. You would have to brought back all the voice actors.
Yeah.
So your heart's in the right place, but no. After 10, this is gonna be controversial, but I would say 15.
Oof.
Only because. And I'm going to say 15 Royal Edition, which incorporates the DLC into the story. And I really enjoyed 15. Granted, you're playing as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You're playing as very, very stereotypical Party of Four. I really enjoyed that aspect. I love the interactions. I love how, like, you could camp in a random place and it triggers a random cutscene or a random quest. And it's all about... It's not about the destination, it's about the characters interacting. And that, I think, changed the scope of a lot of Final Fantasy games, where it wasn't about like, oh, we're gonna stop this great evil. It's, but they're ignoring the interactions of those characters. And they've done a good job over the years, 7 included, where 7 was the first game to introduce like the date system, where depending on your actions, you could go on a date with different characters, including Barrett. But it was awkward and weird, and I always felt awkward because it was like, well, if I don't make the right decisions, it's not the story I want. Like, obviously Cloud is in love with Aerith, and Tifa's in love with Cloud, and there's a love triangle there. Like, it's obvious, but if you don't make the right choices, you're going to get a whole
just like real life.
Indeed. I fully agree with you, but I hate the fact on a lot of games, and 10 included, of missing out on cutscenes or dialogue or some shit because of those minor choices, especially games like that, which just to get to that same point,
you've said the same thing. You've said exactly the same thing on this before, and I think you did it in a recent episode, and I know this because I was editing it and I had to listen to this.
All right, yeah.
So you've said exactly the same rant before. Exactly word for word.
All right. I'll move on then. But I enjoyed 15. I am one of those few camp that I felt like 15, even though my only beef with 15 was like, most games come with a prologue or something that like happens over if you leave the title screen on long enough and tells you the backstory,
sure,
like old school games do. This game was like, no,
we're gonna take your fucking money
and release it as a movie called Kingsglaive.
Yep.
And so Square Enix was a little money grubbing on that front.
When is Square Enix never not money grubbing? My God, their whole
90s, early 2000s.
Okay, in the last 10 years.
All right, we're not going to go on that job. We've got. I have 6 minutes to explain this. All shit, right. So fuck you. We're not going to go on that road. But I enjoyed 15. Noct was not the greatest protagonist, but I liked the world building. I liked the character interaction. I liked that they gave you everything on Front Street. It wasn't you didn't miss out on a lot.
I liked one thing about Final Fantasy XV, the open world. I liked the open world quests. I liked the going on the open world. I liked driving and doing all that. That was nice. I did not like the combat. I did not like the story. I did not like the characters.
That's nice. It's not about you,
but the world. I just had to say that. I just had to really.
Yeah, it's hard, and you're not wrong. A lot of
the open world was the best part of that game.
But I hated the fact that like when I was playing 7, and this is why I think 10 did it best. But like when I was playing 7, if you go into a certain city or a town with a certain set of characters, you get one cutscene. But if you went in with a different set of characters, there was a different cutscene. Mm-hmm. I did not like that. Yeah. I didn't like the fact that I was missing out on little shit like that.
This is what I was saying. Is you've said this before.
Yeah.
In a recent episode.
I like that 10 kind of standardized the full party system. Maybe 8 or 9 did before. I have not yet played through those, so I won't speak to it. But I know 10 was like you walk into a city the full party's with you. 15, you had the 4 characters. That was it. And you were done. You had everything you needed in those 4 characters, and you could program them the way you wanted. And I had to program fucking ballers, so I like that from that aspect. And 15 did get better over time. It took time. It's one of those games that came out. I'm not gonna say half polished, but half profitable, and they were deciding that the other profit would be made on the extended universe, quote unquote, of movies and DLC, which is not right. But if you do play it the way it is now with the Royal Edition and you watch Kingsglaive, it's pretty fucking enjoyable. Plus, you get to see Sean Bean die again. Sean Bean dies in every fucking thing.
And it's amazing. So bored in Kingsglaive. So bored by it.
See, if you watch it in the idea that it's the like opening cinematic, it works. Plus, you're on a fucking Better Call Saul Breaking Bad binge. Aaron Paul is a main character.
Yeah, just because I like
his voice.
Just because I like Aaron Paul, and just because I happen to be rewatching BoJack Horseman right now, it's not because I like Aaron Paul. It's because I needed something to rewatch in the background. I needed something to rewatch in the background. Hooray! Hooray for Todd! Haha! Yeah, Todd is absolutely the best character in that show. But that's not why I watched the show. I needed something to rewatch. But no, I'm not gonna watch the show just because Aaron Paul is in it. I will watch a show because I want to watch.
That's why nobody watches Need for Speed again.
Anyway, you need to watch Better Call Saul Season 6 so that we can have our episode on Season 6. Yeah. Because I'm going to be doing for the folks, I'm going to be doing a video, plug, on Better Call Saul and the concept of time travel soon. And
you're not going to do high opinions without me, right?
No. This is a video for me. And it's not high opinions. This is a video essay on
anything that comes out of your mouth. It's a high opinion.
Yeah. But this is a video about the concept of narrative time travel. That's not where characters are literally time traveling, but where the audience is time traveling.
Yeah, because Better Call Saul has the bookend on their seasons where it's like it begins the season in the future after Breaking Bad.
Exactly.
But then the show takes place, quote unquote, in the past.
And that becomes a major
plot point in the last episode.
Yeah. In the last
I haven't
season,
seen it.
I'll just
I
say
just
in the last,
know-
just in the last.
I just
season.
know that some shit happened.
Yeah, in the last season, that's how it happens, and so I just wanted to talk about it. I started having an idea about it. There's this wonderful book I have called "Time Travel: The Popular Philosophy of Narrative" by Dr. David Wittenberg, who is a professor at a university in Iowa.
Yeah,
University of Iowa.
Doing well.
But he wrote a book. Well, I mean, this is not going to be a book. This is not the kind of book you're going to see written by fucking the most famous. You're not going to see Neil Gaiman writing that kind of book. He's going to write fucking Norse mythology. But so this is a really interesting book, and having read it before, and the most interesting thing to me was the introduction about narrative time travel, and so that was kind of the jumping point for my video essay. So plug. That's what is going to be coming out in the next week.
Is that going to be on your website?
It's going to be attached to Mad Musings. It's also going to be on YouTube. What
is the full URL?
So my website is mad-musings. That's mad-musings.com, mad-musings.com, and that's where you can find all my short stories, my personal essays, some video essays, as well as just thoughts and opinions on things that are happening. And that website is...
You leave the thoughts to me.
Yeah.
You have opinions.
So that
I got the thoughts.
Fair enough. So lots of opinions that I have. And that website is still under maintenance, but it will be up and running probably by the time this episode drops or the next episode drops. So keep an eye out for that.
Plug.
And Corey, is there anything that you're doing outside of work? Maybe some photography, maybe some writing of your own?
Maybe.
So why don't you tell the fine folks at home who are giving us their time, why don't you tell them where they can find you?
Well, my website is not exactly easy to find because I use the generic bullshit. But
well, it will be in the link below.
Well, we could do that.
But
if it's not, it's CD, so that's Charlie Delta, Rokes, my last name, ROKES, .wixsite, that's whiskey, indigo, X-ray, site, like a website, .com / Corey Rokes. I'll put it in the phone.
Yeah, we'll just put it in the link below. I am not listening to this whole fucking thing. I don't feel like paying for my own not listening website. To this whole fucking thing.
Nobody is. But that's where you can find...
You can find his link in the...
Videos of what I do for work. You can find the photos I photograph for random bullshit. I went camping last weekend, so I'm editing those photos right now.
Very fun. I haven't been camping in so long.
Camping's fun.
Yeah, I know, man. I just haven't been in such a long time. I need to do it again.
The first night was rough because our tent got wet, and the way a lot of tents work is, like, if it gets wet inside, it'll just continuously get wet inside, so you can't really dry it out unless the rain stops, which it did. And we were lucky enough that a friend let us borrow our sleep in their 6-person tent. But after that, it picked up, and it was a fantastic time. And
very nice.
The company I was with, which included myself and 2 other Michigan Tech alums, with 3 other non-tech alums, was a lot of fun doing the little tour guide, and the main tour guide, she's fantastic. I enjoy spending more time with her.
Oh yeah? Is she listening right now?
I'm going to find out.
We'll find out.
On this episode. We'll find out on next episode. We'll see if she told me she's excited to see this episode. We'll see if she listens. But either way, I've been camping since I was a kid. My family went camping a lot, so it's a common thing for the Rokeses to go camping.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to find somebody who enjoys it just as much.
That's nice.
Because I just haven't had the opportunity. And, you know, it's not one of those things. It's not one of those things you want to just go and do alone. You know, you want to go enjoy it with somebody else, and to find somebody who enjoys it is fun. So.
Yeah, obviously.
Here's to that. Here's to Final Fantasy XIV. Anybody wants to hit it up? Graham and I are on the Diabolos.
Right? It's Diabolos. That's Diabolos. Diabolos.
Diabolos.
Which is in reference
server.
It's the server. It's on North America. It's the server. The reference name is to the Guardian Force from Final Fantasy VIII. If anybody ever played that, Diablos was my favorite Guardian Force summon in that game. So
move on, Virgin.
I'm just fuck.
Move on, Virgin.
Fuck you.
Diabolos is the North American server that both Graham and I play on. So if you want to hit us up, hit us up. What's your username?
It doesn't go by username. It goes by character name. So it just happens to be whatever character you're playing.
What's your character name?
Character I'm currently playing as is Jim Stansel. That's JimStansel. I am a paladin. That's Jim Stansel. For anybody who's ever seen Wet Hot American Summer, Jim Stansel, he's the guy. He's that guy. He's the guy who gets stuff done. You know, he's that guy.
You make it really hard to be your
played by Michael Cera. Played by Michael Cera in First Day of Camp.
That tracks.
And he's the character. He's the character who, when told, "You're Jim Stansel, son, you don't even look old enough to vote," he responds, "I'm old enough to take a big fat shit on your face." So, who's Jim Stansel? Well, you could say that he's old enough to take a big fat shit on your face.
Well, folks, I'd give you my shit, but I don't know. I don't think I can top that. My character's name is Kaiben, Kiben Dosesu. I can't spell it. But hit us up in the comments if you want to be friends on Final Fantasy XIV. But in the meantime, if you want to shit on your face, you know who to talk to.
Jim Stansel.
Jim Stansel, apparently. My big old friend Graham has got that covered. So until next time, folks, I'm Corey Rokes, and I've been your Drunk Thoughts.
And I'm Graham, and I've been your High Opinions. Have a fantastic evening.